The constitutional question of whether or not Donald Trump is even qualified to hold office, thanks to his involvement with January 6th and the attempt to steal the 2020 election from Joe Biden, has gotten so prominent that Donald Trump himself is terrified it triggered an all-caps rant on Truth Central. But before we unpack all that, if you haven't yet, please hit that like, subscribe, and the alert bell. Maybe check out my Patreon. I'd appreciate the support. All right, folks, so I don't want to belabor the point. This is not going to be another video breaking down the situation about Donald Trump's qualification. Just as a quick recap, an increasing number of judges, attorneys, legal scholars, and constitutional experts are making the case that Section 3 of the 14th Amendment disqualifies Donald Trump from holding federal office. The idea being that in the aftermath of the Civil War, the 14th Amendment was ratified to basically say, listen, if you swore an oath to the Constitution and then you betray that Constitution by either engaging in or giving aid or comfort to an insurrection, you cannot be a constitutional officer again. Okay, you can't come crawling back. So an increasing number of legal scholars, including people on the right, conservative legal scholars and judges and attorneys, are making the case that Donald Trump is disqualified. He cannot hold office. Now that that question is being asked, it's becoming increasingly prominent. State secretaries of state across the country are openly debating it. Donald Trump is freaked out. He has finally acknowledged this potential constitutional threat to his attempts to reclaim the presidency in 2024. And I think this is at least as interesting as the many criminal cases against him. So we finally got treated to an all-caps rant from Donny Boy, and this was from yesterday. Almost all legal scholars have voiced opinion that the 14th Amendment has no legal basis or standing relative to the 2024 presidential election. Like election interference, it's just another trick used by the radical left communist, Marxists, and fascists to again steal an election that their candidate, the worst / most incompetent, and most corrupt president in U.S. history is incapable of winning a free and fair election. Make America great again. Now, Donald Trump is both a liar and incredibly stupid, and also not a legal or constitutional expert. He's simply wrong when he says almost all legal scholars have voiced opinions that the 14th Amendment doesn't apply. Now, to be sure, and to be fair, because we are fair, there are many prominent legal minds and scholars who disagree with the increasing number of people who say that the 14th Amendment Section 3 applies to Trump, okay? Donald Trump does have constitutional experts on his side as well. That's why this is a debate, but it is a very important debate, and odds are it will be attempted, like it will be litigated, it will be adjudicated and potentially resolved by the time of the 2024 election. Multiple state secretaries of state, the highest election officials in their state, have said that they're going to examine whether or not Section 3 of the 14th Amendment applies to Trump. So this will manifest itself in multiple organizations, including the Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, are preparing massive lawsuits to challenge Donald Trump's eligibility on this case. More than likely, it's going to make its way to the Supreme Court. Whether the Supreme Court will choose to hear it or not, or how they'll decide, is anybody's guess, although I expect they will choose to hear it. But yeah, Donald Trump is obviously terrified because this is yet another threat to him in terms of his election bids, his political ambitions, because not only is he facing multiple criminal indictments, 92 charges, I believe, based on all 4 indictments, he now has this, which is potentially even worse because based on the crimes for which Donald Trump has been indicted in all 4 of the current cases, Manhattan, Georgia, and the 2 from Jack Smith, none of them would preclude him from holding office. He could theoretically be convicted of all of those things and also run for and win the presidency in 2024 and somehow try to run the country from a jail cell or something. But if he's constitutionally ineligible to hold office, then he cannot be president no matter what. So this is further reason, additional reason why we're going to continue to track this. I actually, at the time of this recording last night, I was on a debate on kick.com/Cherry with a friend of mine named Cherry. I was on there with Destiny and Pisco, and unfortunately 2 of the conservative opponents who were going to take the case that Section 3 of the 14th Amendment doesn't apply to Trump, they were not able to make it due to a rescheduling issue. So it was a relatively one-sided debate. There was only one conservative there, and she was outnumbered. Yeah, this is going to become an increasing topic that we should all pay attention to. And the fact that it's scaring the hell out of Donald Trump just makes me happy.